I'm strong in faith.
Faith can move mountains. Radio Maria, 91.3 FM.
The voice of truth.
Good evening, Abuja. Welcome to Journey Through Life with me, Sisi Bunmi. You're listening to Radio Maria 91.3 FM. My guest this evening is Agatha Peters Akwandaye. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Yes. She's a beautiful young woman. She's a lawyer. And she has a very, very interesting story to share with us this evening. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
How's your day been?
Very well.
Good, good. I'm going to start with the first soundtrack to your life. The first soundtrack to your life is Coats of Many Colors by Dolly Parton. We'll play it for you. That was Coat of Many Colors by Dolly Parton. Why is that a soundtrack to your life, Agatha?
Well, it's very inspiring music. I think it was my dad's favorite music, and I just saw that it's music about the struggles of a mother wanting her child to have the best of life, and seeing that was what my parents could or would always want to do for us to have. My parents could go to any extent for us to have anything they can afford in life. So long as they can afford it, we can have it. And so I've always seen it as an inspiring music for a mother who can sacrifice anything to make sure that her child gets the best out of life.
So did you get everything you wanted from your parents as a child?
Did.
You did?
Yes.
That's interesting. They spoiled you.
The best of education, whatever. Yes, I can say that.
You were born in Cross River State.
Yes.
And you had your early primary school there.
Yeah.
Where did you have your secondary school?
In Benue State.
Benue State.
Yes.
Because by then your parents had moved to Abuja.
Yes.
And then they sent you a boarding school. Which of the schools did you go to?
Federal Government College Vandiekya.
Okay, in Benue State. Okay. So tell us a bit about your childhood growing up in Cross River State.
Okay, grew up in a small town, Obudu.
That's where we have the cattle ranch.
Yes. So that's where I grew up my early years. And shortly after, just after my primary education, basically, my mother first moved to Abuja, and then I was sent to...
Was it a work transfer?
Yes,
okay.
She had transferred her service from the state civil service to the federal civil service, and so she moved to Abuja, and then I was sent to school in Federal Government College
in Benue
State, Vandiekya in Benue State. So just young children growing up in the
Any fond memories of?
Yes,
how many siblings?
I have 5 siblings.
Wow, that's a large. So that's 6 children altogether.
Yes,
how many?
5 girls and a boy.
Oh my! Your dad got a lot of dowries, I can imagine.
Yeah.
So tell us, any fond memories of growing up with your siblings? Was there rivalry? Was there competition? Was it healthy competition? Tell us about that.
There was really no rivalry because we're all not always together at the same time. Always in school and all of that. But fond memories I had were more with friends. And it was always, I think most of the fun memories I had growing up in Obudu were church memories, going to church. We're always in church.
Catholic church?
Yes. I was raised in a Catholic background, going to church. Every evening, we had something doing in church. Either it's catechism or going for Mary League, which is mostly known as Legion of Mary now. Mary League, children lectures. And we always had one activity or the other. So the fun of always going in group with friends and all of that. And then at some point we were stopped because one day we were going to church, just about to cross the road, and a bike knocked off one of our friends, my clique of, she was my age grade, and then she passed. So it was quite traumatizing for her parents and for my parents as well. So for a while they stopped us from, because we always go on our own, just as small children, form a clique, run over to church and all of that.
Yes.
Yeah. Basically.
Fun memories.
Yeah.
Yes. The second soundtrack to your life is Dance with My Father by Luther Vandross. We'll play that for you. Dance with My Father by Luther Vandross. Why that particular one? Did you have a special relationship with your father?
I was a daddy's girl.
I can imagine.
Also, that my father loved me so dearly. So much.
And you loved him too?
I loved him too. Still do. In blessed memory. But
okay, he's late.
Yes. About 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Oh, may so rest in peace.
Thank you. Amen. I was a daddy's girl, and my father is a girl dad. So you see that he'll go out.
He had no choice. He had 5 of you.
Yes. He would go out, but I don't know. He was very particular about me. He would go out and see a dress. I'm like, this will look good on Shema. That was Shema P. He nicknamed me Shema P. That's a short form of my name, and then P was Peter as his name.
Okay.
So that was Shema P. Like, this will look good on Shema P. He will buy, and even in the house, if they want to get something quick from him,
they go through you.
Go and tell Daddy this and all of that. So I was
you had him on your little finger.
Yeah.
Did you not?
I did.
So then you become 18 and then something happened. You got pregnant.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So basically, as much as I was a daddy's girl, we're raised with love and all of that, my father was a very, very strict man, a disciplinarian to the core. Somehow played around life and I got pregnant. And that was, till this moment, the biggest scare of my life. And so when that happened...
Would you say it's the biggest regret of your life?
No, it's not a regret. I never want to think that I will regret. Because seeing my child now, the blessings attached to it and all of that, I will never tag it to any form of regret. But when that happened, knowing the background that I came from, my father and all of that, there was fear, there was that tension. How do I break the news to him? Because if we break the news to him, the reaction we'll be expecting is, I will disown you. He was that strict. I will disown you. So when it happened, I didn't know where to start from. And somehow, we had to tell him. But before we
when you say we, who are the we?
Because I had
mom?
No, not my mom. We had to break the news to him, that me and my aunt, because I had to get someone to tell him.
His sister?
Yes, his sister. His aunt, basically, who literally brought him up because he lost his mom at a very young age. So that was the person who brought him up. And I went to her, I'm like, this is the situation. She laughed, knowing who my father was, and she said, you have to pack your things and move in with me, because your dad that I know will not take this in good faith. And so we made the preps and all of that. But before...
To move over to her place?
Yes. But before you move, let's break the news to him. And so we got someone...
More like before you run away, let's break the news to him.
And then we had to involve someone he respects very well. I'm like, okay, this is the situation.
Was that a friend or a relative?
A friend. This is the situation. And the person said, Big Stuff. That was the name they used to call him, Big Stuff. I don't know how I'm going to break this news, but I'll try. So they broke the news to him, and he said, okay. And the man said, it is not okay. What is your reaction? This is not your true reaction. We know your reaction. We are expecting your true reaction, where you will shout, yell, bring down the roof, run in, get your gun. I will shoot you. You cannot embarrass me. You cannot bring my name to the mud and all of that.
Maybe he went into shock.
Maybe. And he just said, okay. You know, they pacified him, tried to get him to talk. He said, it's okay, it's fine, right? Yes, he asked, okay, the question he asked was my ear. That my mom, he called me mother. I was named after his mom. He said my ear, and they said yes. I said okay, and kept quiet. So when the man left, he called me in, first to his study, and then he came back to the parlor, sat by the dining, and I stood just by the door in case of anything, so that I will run away. And he said, what I heard, is it true? I nodded, I said yes. And he said something that I will never ever forget. He said, having a child is a blessing. There are people who are looking for children. Having a child is a blessing, but the resources to take care of that child is the problem. In your case, you're lucky that you have us. At that point, I'm like, no, this is not the father that I know. The father that I know would not react in this way. I said, thank you, Daddy. And like, have you started antenatal? I said, no. He said, okay, you have to start antenatal. You're far gone and all of that. I said, yes, sir. And when he went in, I ran to my room, picked a few things, and left the house because my expectation was that he was going to come to my room at night and shoot me. That was the kind of father I had.
You were afraid it was a delayed reaction.
Yes, like he was going to come to my room at night and maybe break the door and shoot me. But nothing happened. In the morning, he came to my aunt's place and I asked you to go to the hospital I was expecting and all of that. So my aunt said, okay, no problems. You go ahead. I'll take her to the hospital and whatnot. And so
did he at any point ask then that who
Yes,
is
he asked me. He said,
yeah.
who is responsible? And I told him. And he said, what did he say? And I said, he said he's not responsible.
He denied?
Yes, he denied. He said he's not responsible for the pregnancy. He said, okay. Because he knew the guy's family. He said, okay, no problem. And then he tried to reach out to the family to say, this is a situation with my child and your son. The older brother reached out to my father to say, okay, we'll take responsibility and whatnot. And he was emphatic. He said, I'm not, this is just about the legitimacy of the child. My child is about to birth. That's all I want.
It's not about caring for the baby.
It's not about caring for the baby. I just want the legitimacy of the child. And they said, they were going to show up and take responsibility and whatnot. And never did. So my aunt went further, took me to his older sister to say, my niece is pregnant for your brother and your brother is denying. And the sister looked at me and said, my dear, my brother is not responsible, but if you need baby clothes, money, I can help you. And that angered my aunt. My aunt said, do you know whose child you're speaking to? Money is not the problem. Clothes are not the problem. That's not what we're talking about. We just want your brother to own up the legitimacy of this child. But
which is very important.
Yeah, my brother said he's not responsible. So my aunt held my hands and said, you've seen it, let's go. She went back, reported to my father. And at that point, my dad said, okay. He had already taken the matter to the social services and all
your
of
father.
that. Yes. But when his brother reached out, like, let's settle this amicably. We don't have to rub our family name in the mud and all of that. He withdrew it. I said, okay, so be it. She's going to have a child. The child is going to be my child.
That is your father saying that now? Yes.
She's going to have a child. She's going to be my child.
Yeah,
so,
because you're not married to him. Yes.
So that was it. And then my parents didn't make any further push to get them involved. And they didn't show any care either. So it became my parents' responsibility.
Can I ask, when you discovered that you were pregnant, I can imagine, did you ever at any point consider terminating the pregnancy?
Yes. Before we broke the news to my father, a lot had gone down. Because just like I said, when I discovered that I was pregnant, I was not even with my parents. I had gone for my A-levels. I traveled for my A-levels. So when I returned and discovered that I was pregnant, they fear like, okay, what will my father say? What will my parents do? And whatnot. I made attempts. And then during that period, I think it was Christmas period, we traveled home for Christmas. And I had a terrible accident. When I was rushed to the hospital and were being treated and injected, I kept quiet. I didn't say I was pregnant. My hopes were that...
So you're hoping that the medications
interfere with the terminate it. So it didn't happen, and I was bedridden for a month.
While pregnant?
While pregnant. I was bedridden for a month. And then
but you hadn't told your parents then, yeah?
I think my older sister suspected when she came, like, there's just something about you. And then it was my father who ran to my defense at the time, like, somebody who has not worked for a month, what do you expect? Mm-hmm. She just eats on that bed, do everything on that bed.
And that's why she's fat. So little did he know.
So when I got better, we still made attempts.
You still made an attempt?
Yeah, we still made attempts.
When you say we?
My cousin. Yes, I confided in my cousin, and she said, okay.
An older cousin?
Yes. Yeah. She said, okay, there's this clinic, they can do an abortion for you and all of that. So she took me there. Funny enough, that morning when I was prepping to go, I wore white. My younger sister was in my room, and she looked at me and said, are you wearing your funeral clothes?
Oh, dear.
I was like I snapped at her.
Why did she say that? Why do you think she said that?
I don't know. I snapped at her. I'm like, what is that? Do you want to kill me and all of that? Okay.
But she wasn't aware of what you were doing.
She wasn't aware.
She just said that.
She just says, are you wearing your funeral clothes? But, because I was desperate to get rid of it, we went to the clinic. And then the doctor, upon seeing my name, he looked at my file. When he saw my name, he stood up and started shaking. He said, no, I won't touch my blood. No.
Wow. Why did he say that?
I didn't understand. It was later on I realized that I think there's some blood affiliation.
From the name, yes. He could tell from the name.
Yes, I said, no, not me. He was reacting badly and he left. Another doctor came. It was when the second doctor came in that I just said, you know what? I'm not interested again. Let's find a way to tell my father about this, whatever the case may be.
Were you scared of something going wrong?
Yes, I was.
Especially with what your sister said.
I was.
Before you left home.
I was scared. And I think that was what made me change my mind when the second doctor came in. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not doing... What if I don't make it back alive? I'm not doing this. Whatever the situation is, let me take this. Let me just tell my father. And, So my aunt, that was the day I even had to open up to my aunt to this is a situation on ground and all of that. She cried, wailed, like, hey, my father will kill me and all of that. How will she break this news to my father? She did all the drama and I just sat there. And then we came up with a plan. She said, okay, I know your father and he's not going to take this in good faith. You know what? You're going to move in with me. Pack your things, prep yourself and whatnot. And let's make arrangements for you.
Let me play the next soundtrack to your life. Abide With Me by Henry Francis. Abide With Me. That is one of the soundtracks to your life. Did you have this feeling of God abiding with you when you took that turn not to go ahead with the abortion?
Yes, I did. But this soundtrack of Abide With Me, I think it resonated with me much later in life, where I realized that from the moment where this whole drama and all of that, and seeing how there was literally a transformation in my life, and I just realized that God had always been there and he's always present. So I was just listening to the song one day and it resonated so much with me, and I said, okay, the thing is I constantly need God's presence and I constantly need him to abide with me. So it's like an everyday prayer for me.
Yes. Okay, so are you looking back now, even though probably you were not ready to get pregnant, you were not married, but it happened. Okay, life happened, as they say. Looking back now, are you happy that you kept the pregnancy?
Very much happy. That is, if you would ask me, not my degrees, not anything I've acquired in life, but that is my biggest achievement in life. Because today, she's my best friend. When I see her, there's that joy, and I just feel fulfilled. Like, even if I end up not getting married, I have her.
Have you told her the story? Her story? You've never told her story? She doesn't know?
She doesn't know.
That's interesting. How old is she now?
She'll be turning 18 in April.
That same age that you were at, but she doesn't know.
Yeah, but I'm intending to tell her when she turns 18.
No, that's the... How do you feel about...
She's not listening to
this. How do you feel about telling her all the story? And...
I don't know. It's mixed feelings. On one hand, I just want her to know so that tomorrow she doesn't hear it from a secondary source and like, why did you keep this information from me? And then on the other hand, just so she's aware of the situation surrounding her birth, and just knowing that, okay, regardless of anything, you still had a father present. Whether your biological father did not own up, but you had a father present.
I was coming to that. Doesn't she ever ask you about her father, her biological father?
No, she has never asked.
She's never asked?
Because my father, I think my father filled that vacuum that she has never thought.
There was no need.
Yes, there's no need. She has never thought that there is a father somewhere. My father filled that vacuum.
What was their relationship like?
She and my father shared a great... I thought I had a bond with my father until she came along. My father became my nanny. When I had her, he was literally my nanny. He would When I'm busy, he would hold her. There are times where I'll be too tired, I'm sleeping, and then maybe there's no help around me, and she's crying because my room was just next to my dad's room. He would come from his room, carry her, you know, sing lullabies for her. And then
so he was really hands-on.
Yes, he was really hands-on from the time that he just said, okay, this is it. He was hands-on, you know. Take her to his room. They will sleep off, and then when I wake up in the morning, I'll go to his room and see them.
What of your mother in all of this?
You know, when this happened, my mom didn't take it in good faith at first. Mother's drama.
Was she like devastated. A CWO member?
She was devastated. Yes, Christian mothers and all of that. She was devastated with the whole situation. Angry, didn't want to talk to me.
Did she feel embarrassed? A sense of you've embarrassed me.
With every parent. She felt that way. She didn't speak to me when my older siblings were trying to, you know, get in. I can remember when one of my cousin then suggested to her, like, okay, let's get her to have an abortion. And then she snapped. If anything happened to my child, I'll kill you. But she was not speaking to me.
She still cared, yes.
If anything happened to my child. And then after a while, she was not forthcoming. It was until the week where I was going to have my baby, where I had a protracted labor, that the motherly instinct kicked in. She was running helter-skelter, you know, calling for prayers. My water had broke, and I was not feeling the labor pain and all of that. That's when she kicked in.
She panicked.
Calling for prayer, every other person she knows, and you know.
Yes, I'm glad that you didn't go ahead with the abortion. I knew a young lady who was quite close to me. She got pregnant and she didn't tell anybody that she was pregnant, and she tried to have the pregnancy terminated. She went to the chemist, the local chemist, they gave her whatnot, and she died. She passed on, you know. So I never knew she was pregnant, and I deeply, deeply wish that she had told me, you know, there's always help out there, you know. I think that's the message, isn't it?
Yes, there's always hope out there. Because at the end of the day, when you're going through the pregnancy phase, you would feel as though, I'm a big disgrace, I'm a failure, and the question of how do I go on from here, especially where the support is not there. I don't know what my case would have been like if I didn't have the support, if my parents were not there, because my mom, after all of that, you know, she came in handy, the support was there, and I was just fresh out of secondary school, so what do I have? My parents were the ones. My mom bought everything she could lay her hands on
for the
baby and all of that.
And your siblings, were they also?
Yes, my siblings were, you know, for the first 2 years of having my child, there was really not that bond because I had too many family members around,
looking after
everybody
her,
wanting to have a piece of her.
Yes.
And she looked like an Asian baby doll. So everybody wanted to have a piece of her. My cousins, my siblings, my mom, everybody. So, and as a young girl, I was so excited, like, okay, you guys are taking her. I still have my time to go out and all of that. So in my own case, the support was there. If the support was not there, and then the thought would be of, how do I navigate this? And I'm sure that is the challenge most people face, the support.
Well, I know, but I would say that there is support out there. You can always, if you don't have the family support, the social welfare is there, and they're very, very good. You can approach an orphanage, children's home. You can approach, you know, the women gender department. There's so much help out there.
Yes, there's so much help out there. But at the end of the day, some people see the fact that pregnancy feels like this is the end.
I was coming to that because after this episode, you now went to school, became a lawyer.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So, of course, after I had my child, you know, shortly, I was fresh out of secondary school trying to get into the university. And so this happened. I had to, you know, step a year back and get over with whole pregnancy, postnatal and whatnot. And while that was on, my father called me one day. He's like, so what are your plans going forward? You've had this baby now. What are your plans going forward? And I looked, I said, you know that you've always been a shining star. You've always had your dreams. Are those dreams dead? And I looked at him and I shook my head. I said, no, Daddy. He said, okay, JAMB forms are out. Go and pick JAMB form again. I went back to my room and I sat up and I said, actually, my parents look up to me a lot, and I really want to make them proud in my lifetime.
Despite
the
mistake.
Mistake. Despite all that has happened, I disappointed them, but I really want to, give them that hope again, make them realize that I am that child that they always wanted, and my mistake has become like a stepping stone to becoming a better person.
But will not define you.
Yes, and will not define me. And so I went back, trying to get admission to school. And it took another year trying to get admission. And then they suggested I go abroad, but I was not opening to going abroad at the time. And then I got admission. When I got admission with a private university here, my father said, if I can spend that amount of money for you to go to a private university, it's as much as spending that money for you abroad. So I'm not going to say, if you're going to school in Nigeria and you're going to study law, you will go to a federal university. There was nothing my mother didn't say. We tried to convince
Why didn't you want to go abroad?
I was not open to going abroad at the time. Whether I was young, I was naive. I didn't just want to go. I didn't find it like appealing to go.
Yes.
So after a while, he gave in and like, okay. So I got admission and I went to school. I started going to school. So at any time it gets tough, and I'll sit back and ask myself, is this worth it? I remember that you want to see that smile on your father's face, and now you have a child. Your mother and your father are not going to be there forever. You have to stand up for your child in the absence of your parents. And I did make them proud, because on the day of my call to bar, my father said, if I die today, I die a happy man. And so I know I made him happy in his lifetime before he passed.
That is so sweet. We'll play the next soundtrack to your life. This World Is Not My Home by Jim Reeves. You're listening to Journey Through Life on Radio Maria 91.3 FM with me, Sisi Bunmi, as your host. My guest this evening is Agatha Peters Akwandaye. Yes, she's a lawyer. She's a beautiful young lady. She's been sharing her story with us, her story of teenage pregnancy and all the decisions she had to make with her family support and all that. Yes. Yeah. So why is this a soundtrack to your life? This World Is Not My Home.
Funny enough, most of my music choices in life were influenced
by
my dad. So he was a fan of Jim Reeves, Luther Vandross, and the likes. So there was one time he was listening to this music, and I'm like, Daddy, this is quite sorrowful. And he said, yes, that this is a reminder that everybody would die someday, and big, young or old, great or not, poor or rich, someday we're all going to die, and that he is always open to any time God calls him. And I'm like, okay. So I just kept listening to the music and somehow liked it. And it's also a constant reminder, whatever I do in life, at the end of the day, I know that someday there's an end to whatever I'm doing.
Yes. Going back, did you ever feel resentment towards your child when she was little? Like, look, it's because of you that I'm going through all this and all that. Did you ever feel angry sometimes?
I don't think I ever did. I don't think that I know that I had suffered postpartum depression after I had her. There was this hallucination, thoughts of her dying and all of that. But I never resented her or thought that, okay, it's because of you, I'm going through this in life and all. And maybe if it was really hard on me, I probably would have experienced that.
Maybe if you didn't have the support.
Yeah, if I didn't have the support, I probably would blame her. But maybe because the support was there and I didn't see her as a burden, so at no point did it cross my mind to say that, oh, you're responsible for this. As a matter of fact, like, I fly my child like a flag. If you talk to me after 3 sentences, if my dad is not in that sentence, it's my child.
Fantastic. If you want to join this conversation, you can call in on 081-084-47518, or you can send messages, SMS or WhatsApp message to join the conversation. If you have any comments, any questions, you can call in. So if there's any young girl listening to us now and is probably in a dilemma with unwanted pregnancy, what would be your advice to this young lady?
That's a hard one, but at the end of the day, I just hang in there.
We have a caller. Good evening. What's your name and where you calling? Oh, we lost that caller. Sorry. Go on, Agatha.
Okay, hang in there. The beginning, right, may be tough. It will be hard. The struggle is there. It boils down again to if there's no support, it's going to be really hard. But the end result, looking at your child 10, 15 years later on, you'll be very proud that you did. I have friends today who will tell me, Agatha, I wish I made a bold step like you did and kept my child. I'd look at that child.
We have a...
Hello?
Hello, good evening, sir. Where are you calling from and what's your name?
Good evening. I am A. Williams calling from Zuba. Good evening, our guest.
Welcome to the show.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, my learned colleague. Yes, you took a very wise decision. I like the way you stepped up your life game by going to school to edify your mind, body, and
we lost that caller. Please call back if you can. Yes. He's just calling. I think he's trying to support your decision. Yes. So you were saying?
So I'm saying that if you look back years on, you will realize that you won't even remember the pain, the struggles of the past. You'll be very proud of what your child has turned on to be. And there are lots of people who are regretting their decisions today. I wish I had done this. Just take that bold step. It's not an easy one. It's not going to be easy.
We have another caller. Good evening. What's your name?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Welcome to the show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Angela, calling from Otaku.
Welcome, Angela.
Okay, I just want to tell the guests in the studio, well done.
Thank you, Angela.
Taking a great decision, because when it happened to me when I was 15, it was only my mom that was there for me. Today, that's my child, that my son is a big boy, and I don't look at it that way. So I want to tell her, well done for keeping that baby.
Thank you, Angela. Child.
May God bless her and bless you. She will be a blessing to you in all your life in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Angela? Oh, we lost her. Angela, did you have family support like Agatha did?
Yeah, she said she had her mom with her.
I did not have support because the father was an occultic man. I was 15. He was 45.
Ooh. That's sad.
But thank God you came through it. Thank you for calling. Thank you so much for that call. We have another caller. Yes?
Yes, Williams calling in again.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I said I congratulate my learned colleague for stepping up her life game by going to school and graduating as a lawyer. It's kudos to you. Then one more thing I must tell you. In the law we practice, the essence of stating the obvious and stating facts as they are. You need to let your daughter know whom her biological father is on a serious note. It's very, very important, please.
Yes, she will get to know. I just want her to know at the right time, when it's ripe for her to know.
And when you're ready too.
When I'm ready, so I have to be emotionally ready and prepare her also emotionally to break such news to her.
Thank you. Thank you for that call. Thank you very much. So you were saying to any young lady listening, definitely do not ever consider an abortion.
You heard what the other caller said. So today she's looking back and she's not regretting her decision. The beginning may be very hard. It will be very hard, but just don't look at the present. Look at the future. In the near future, you would be more than happy that you took that decision and be very proud of yourself. I am very proud of myself today. I'm very proud of my child. My child is a star. Very young, intelligent girl. And now I imagine, what would my life be without her? Now I just imagine what life would have been like without her. So,
and what if there are any parents listening now who are maybe very angry with a child who has made a mistake and gotten pregnant and all that? What would you say to them?
I know how heartbreaking that is as a parent, having so much hopes on your child and then having them dash your hopes like that. It's heartbreaking, but at the end of the day, you just have to support them and, help them through. That is just the need. Support and help them. It's not easy. It's heartbreaking, but just show your support, help them, guide them. So at the end of the day, they don't even take decisions that would even hurt further. So imagine if I didn't have this, I didn't think of, okay, let me man up and tell my parents. And if my father did not support me and probably threw me out, I may want to proceed with an abortion, and then I didn't make it. He would not lose only a grandchild, but also lose a child and live with that pain.
Very well. So if you could advise your 18-year-old self now, what would you tell yourself at 18? Now that you're wiser, you know better, what would you tell your 18-year-old self?
Yes, I know better now. I'm wiser now. If I was to go back to my 18-year-old self, I'd probably say I'll take life more slow. I think I would say it was youthful exuberance, and I'll probably...
Wait, we have another caller.
Okay.
Agatha. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening. You're welcome to the show.
I'm Roda James from Nassau State.
Welcome to the show.
I want to thank the guest there, especially for the boldness that she has. I believe those who are listening, especially those who are under this thing, who maybe as accidentally may come, they have learned a lot of lessons. And it's a good thing that they should take it. Many take to Abuja, as you said earlier, some did it and they die. Again, but it is not the right way. So pray that may God bless her. But my question is now, is she married now?
Agatha, are you married now?
I'm not married. Thanks.
Are you getting married soon? Yeah, she's not married yet. Oh my God. Oh my God. Thank you for your call. Stay listening to Radio Maria 91.3 FM. We have everything you need. You can join this conversation on 081-084-475. We have another caller, 47518. Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello.
Hello, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from, sir?
Good evening. My name is Emmanuel.
All right. Hello, Emmanuel. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Okay. First and foremost, I want to say hi to the woman in the studio, Sister Angela.
Agatha.
And Agatha.
Hello, Emmanuel.
Yes.
And as well, I want to appreciate her for what she's doing. She may not actually know what she's doing, but for me, it's a great thing that she's doing. And I think she has that courage. And I believe any other person who may be likely facing a similar situation to also be encouraged by her story. And there's one area I will wish that she also look into and probably advise if necessary. Because I think the major challenge, or what led to the main challenge, was what happened. How can our young girls, what will be the advice coming from her to them to avoid, because avoidance in some extent is a great solution to so many problems. For them to avoid getting into this kind of early or unexpected or unplanned motherhood. Thank God she had people who supported her. But in some areas, I have seen somebody who was thrown away just because of what happened to her. And which I know that nobody will ever pray for such to come, but we have happened. So if you can share a bit on that area, I think it is it's going to go very far of helping our young sisters around who may be listening to the program.
Yes, I think not just the young, excuse me, Emmanuel, I think it's not just the ladies, even the men, even the young boys, because I think we always have this idea of just, addressing the young girls. We have to address the young boys too. So, do we still have Emmanuel on the line? Oh, we lost him. All right. Anyway, thank you for the call. So you were saying, Agatha, your advice to your 18-year-old self.
Yes, to take life more easy and, if possible, just like Emmanuel just said, advise... Abstain.
Until
if
marriage.
I was to go back then, yes, I would abstain. And until maybe I have a proper understanding of life and just take life on the slower lane, Not like I was doing it because of any financial or material gain, but to be more careful, listen. When your parents tell you something is bad, it's actually really bad. Just maybe listen more and take life more easy,
and listen to the church teaching.
Listen to the church teaching. As much as we are saying that you get pregnant, keep the pregnancy, the support. Also, try to help yourself by preventing it from not happening
in the first place.
Thank you. Abstain, stay away, and just listen. Seek guidance of older ones. Listen to the church's teaching and whatnot.
We'll play the next soundtrack to your life. Some Broken Hearts Never Mend, Don Williams. Some broken hearts never mend. Did you have a broken heart that never mended?
Yes, recently.
Oh.
And that's...
Do you want to go there? You want to talk about it?
Yeah. The demise of my father.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think that broke me before he passed. I know I used to tell my friends that if my father passed, I don't think life will ever be the same again. And though, just like I said, this was one of the favorite songs in his playlists. It made more sense now. It resonates more with me now.
Now that he's gone.
2
years ago, you said?
Yes, 2 years ago, and it still feels really fresh. The thought of their days. I just really want to. He was my to-go person. Call him on the phone. Call him on the phone to rant, share my day and all of that. And he's no longer there. He's no longer a call away. And I go about with a heavy heart every day, knowing that he's no longer there.
He's so rest in peace.
Amen.
So now your daughter is also 18.
Yes.
Or about to be
18 in April.
In April.
Yes.
So do you worry? Are you scared that, God forbid, history may repeat itself?
Yes. That worries me.
What are you doing about it?
That worries me that, I hope history don't repeat itself. So, I've tried to, have conversations with her. I'm like, you realize that I'm a single mother and this is the situation that put me there. There are people who are waiting and watching to say, it happened again. And let's not give them that room let's not validate their thinking,
So your message to her is wait.
Yes, I just wait. Just like I said, I will advise my 18-year-old self is what I advise her now. Wait, take life more easy. There's really nothing there. What you think is there, it's not there. Take your time, be more patient. It's really not worth it at the end of the day.
What's your relationship with her like?
My daughter and I have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful bond. She's my best friend. For the longest, she called me sister. She thought I was her sister,
she thought you were
older sister.
Oh dear! So was that deliberate on your part?
No, it was not my part because my mom raised her, and then in the house where we're all
your
girls,
mom and dad, your parents.
My mom, yes, my mom, my parents raised her.
She just assumed that
we're
she was.
Oh, yes, she was. And then my mom tells people she's her last child.
So when did your daughter realize that you were her mother?
At 13.
13.
I wrote her
5 years ago.
Yes, I wrote her a beautiful note on her 13th birthday.
When she became a teenager.
Yes, and that was when she realized, and then she started calling me mom. But now she doesn't even call me mom per se. When she's with her friends at home, she calls me guy, AG.
She's in school now?
Yeah, she's in school now. She's at Veritas. She calls me guy, AG. She's my friend.
What's she studying? She's in university?
Yeah, she's in the university. She's looking at studying law. So
she wants to be a lawyer too.
Yeah, because she says I'm her role model. I motivate her. So every day I live life deliberately, knowing that my child is looking up to me. So I'm careful of things I do or say around her.
You're intentional.
Yes, I'm very intentional about that.
Are you raising her in the way of the church? Is she involved?
Yeah, she's very much involved in the church. She used to be an altar server, and she's a lector now.
You're also a lector.
Yes, I'm a lector too. She's a lector, and also in school she's a lector. But before she got into uni, she used to teach children catechism in church, but because of school and then coming back, no time and all. But she's really active in the lector ministry now, and I'm happy she's doing that, and she has a great relationship with God that I am proud of.
Do you have a great relationship with God?
I do, because she looks up to me, so I'm sure she sees what I do, and she feels like, okay, if this is the way my mother is going, and that is why I'm intentional about the things I say or do around her. Male visitors are not welcomed in my house because of her.
Do you see yourself being too paranoid because of your experience, perhaps?
Yes.
Do you think you're a bit too paranoid that,
Yeah. I think I am because of my experience per se, but then I just worry. I'm a bit paranoid when it concerns her, yeah. So I'm like, okay, no, so that nobody takes advantage, but so far it's going well, to the glory of God, because I just tell God, I'm not doing this on my own. It's by your guidance and
by your grace too.
Yeah, and by your grace too. So please help me lead this child right. And she will always say that she wants to make daddy proud.
That's your dad.
Yes, she wants to make
dad.
daddy proud. So I'm sure whatever she's doing, she sees that he's watching, and she really wants to make him proud. Because there was this, anytime he sees her, there was this, his face just lights up whenever he sees her. So she's looking forward to make him smile from heaven. And
I'm sure he's smiling down every day, on you. So let's talk about your beauty routine, because I see your skin glowing and. So tell me a bit about how you keep fit and looking so good.
Okay, of course I do my regular workouts and all of that, but I'm very big on fruits. Very, very. My mother introduced me to skincare at 18-ish, so I'm very big on skincare. I avoid anything that would
avoid junk food.
Junk foods, chemicals, like all this bleaching, whatever I use. Yes, very. Normal.
So you're naturally fair.
Yes, naturally fair. My grandmother almost escaped albinism, so I think I took the fairness from her. My dad is on the dark side and all. So, but I do a lot of fresh fruits that, like, to your intake is what tells on your outer body. But I'm also very big on skincare. Really, that's what eats my money.
So, would you ever japa?
Funny enough, that has never been,
because you said earlier on that you refused to go abroad. So now, with the way
the only thing that takes me abroad is holidays. I've never had the the desire to go abroad, and then the kind of career path that I'm pushing is Japan will not even favor my career path. That's the honest truth. So I just want to stay here, build my career. Maybe in the later parts, my child can go, I will visit, but for myself, I'm happy. I'm really happy in Nigeria, regardless of whatever. I think I will be 1% of the 1% that will build Nigeria.
Wow, that's fantastic. I like your spirit. I like that. Because most young ladies are ready. They will do anything and everything to just japa, as they say. But you don't care
it's
so
not in
much.
my books anytime soon. No.
So you're going to stay here and build your career. Build your career. So what path are you pursuing? The bench?
Yes, I'm looking at going to the bench.
One day become a judge.
Yes.
Wow, that's fantastic. That is really, really amazing.
Thank you.
Now, if I were to offer you now a bottle of champagne or water, what would it be?
Champagne.
I love that. You love your champagne.
Yes, I do.
Yes. So what's the luxury item? One luxury item that you cannot live without. Luxury item that you cannot live without.
I love shoes.
High heels. You're tall, so do you wear heels?
Yes, I wear heels. I wear heels a lot. I love shoes, and sometimes I just buy shoes not because I want to wear them. Just seeing them in my shoe rack gives me joy.
You have a shoe fetish. That's
yes,
what they say, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, have you enjoyed your time on our program?
Yes, absolutely. I've had a really good time, and I hope that my story resonates with someone out there and will impact on someone somehow. But I had a beautiful time here.
Thank you. So what are your final words to our audience, to our listeners?
Wherever you find yourself in life, it's important to pick up yourself, dust yourself, and move on. It's not the end of life. Don't think because, I'm a single mother, life ends here, or because this happened to me, life ends here. That's not the end. Pick up yourself, dust yourself.
And as the saying goes, when life gives you a lemon, you make lemonade. That is it, yes. You've been listening to me, Sisi Bunmi, on Journey Through Life. My guest has been Agatha Peters Akwandaye. She's a lawyer, she's a young lady. She's shared her stories with us this evening. If you want to contact her, you can call us on 081-084-47518. You can send an SMS message or a WhatsApp message. Please continue to listen to Radio Maria on 91.3 FM. I'm here with you every Mondays from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Should we sign out with the final, with the next soundtrack to your life? Should we do that? Okay. Lord, I hope the day is good. You are listening to Radio Maria, the voice of truth. Have a good evening. Thank you.